Welcome back. This is King Link, and this is the last look and review of Hearts of Iron 4. This is going to be an interesting review. It's a challenging game, and I'll get into that for a second. But first, if you're interested, I have a first look at the game where I go through the tutorial more. I probably show a lot more of the gameplay. Check that out. A lot of it is going to be me going through the tutorial, but it will show you how the game is played. I also have a written review down below. Now, this is about World War II. There are no spoilers here. Well, except Germany and Italy and Japan lost. America, UK, France, Soviet, Russia, all won. Soviet Union, all won. But really, there's nothing I can spoil in this game other than what stuff looks like. And honestly, there's not much. However, if you prefer a written review with absolutely no spoilers, again, there's none really, check it out down below in the description. Now, the challenge here is, this is a game that I've already put in like 15 hours into, 17 I think now, and it is a long game to play. Those 15 hours were across 3 or 4 games, each game going about 5 to 10 years, and those 5 years can take the 5 hours. It's a very long and interesting game. So unfortunately, I can't show you the whole thing. Even the end game is hard to capture. I will show you a little bit of the game. I'm going to point out a few things, but let me talk a little more about what's going on. I'll show you my recaps of a few games. Let's talk about Iron Man, my Iron Man France game. Now, I played Iron Man. The reason why I was on that, did it not load? Oh, yeah. Sometimes it will almost crash. Here we have France. I did not do well in this game. If you notice, Germany has taken over France. I was France. Yeah. This was my first true game, and I tried it out. The big thing here was I had a number of troops, about 100 or so. I was doing well. I actually think maybe with the right commander, I could have won, but I put them all on the German line. All right, that was a good plan. Got into a war. I actually was teamed up with Czechoslovakia and a couple other countries, and I was guaranteeing Poland would be safe. I was, big man France. As I did that, Germany was having trouble with me. I was actually entering German space, and Italy decided to... Oh, Germany called Italy to the war, and Italy just walked straight into Paris. Taught me a lesson. Like, every game that I played has taught me a lesson, and that's good. But after 15 hours, and the fact that most of those lessons are about 5 hours into the game, those lessons are costly. And that's one of my issues with the game. Like, the tutorial got me ready to lose, and then I started learning how to win. Personally, I think the tutorial could have been longer. The tutorial took me about, I think, 40 minutes. You can see most of it in the first look, but ultimately, I think they could have done more to prepare me. There is videos online. There's a wiki. All of this is good, but it does not make me feel like the game itself fulfilled its duty to teach me it. But, losing is actually pretty good. I do like the idea of playing a game and failing and getting better at it. That's a good cycle. It's just I don't feel that this game earned that cycle. It didn't get me ready to win. It got me ready to make mistakes. Oh well. So right now I'm loading in a game where I played on easy. I'll show you again when I go back to the load screen. But basically, this was easy. I had strengthened all the allies. I had weakened Germany. I wanted to make sure I could win. God, look at this. I mean, France is dominant in this game, and it's because I set them up to win, of course. Germany normally would be here. Italy would be here. straight back. I actually won World War II. It is 1941. America over here ain't even in the war. Yeah, I said ain't. Eat it, English teachers. But yeah, oh, interesting. They're actually up against the Canadians. Weird. I don't understand why America would be on the Canadian border with troops, but you know, that's what they did. But basically, if I keep playing, December 7th, you know, Pearl Harbor does not actually happen in this. You can actually even look at what their national policy is. They're still trying to embargo Germany. They're not going to even embargo, they will embargo Japan later, but Pearl Harbor doesn't happen. They haven't joined the war. Why? Because it ended that fast. If you put it on easy, you're going to win easy. So that, I mean, oh, okay. So I just took a look at my notes. I realized I forgot two things. I did load this game for two reasons. First off, I want to look at weapons. If you notice, you have all these different weapons. I believe these stats are the same no matter the country. What changes is the name and the diagram. I actually like that because it makes it feel more interesting. Like I have a B1 tank here. I have an FCM 36. If you're into tanks or into the military, probably just get this game. Trust me. It's a really good game for people who want to simulate World War II and do a bunch of what-if situations. But anyways, the point is we have B1 tanks here. We also have the idea of a national focus. And what that is essentially how is France expanding or growing. France has one of the more interesting maps. If you know World War II. If you don't, study up, man. But essentially, when you do World War II, you actually know France is one of the first countries that really goes to war. There's Poland, of course, too. Poland is in the game. You can play it. He's actually not marked as a major power, but he is one of the 8 countries that have a different national focus. National focus. I said that right. What's interesting here, though, is there's these choices that you can make. You can either support the status quo, or you can revise the size. If you choose the latter, you know, it goes down a different route, and you have different options. If you choose the former, you can actually go with the Allies or go with Little Britain. It's up to you. You can in this you can actually start going down a communist path. You can even go down a fascist path, depending on which ones you're choosing. That's I mean, that to me, that's interesting. That is the what if situation. What if you can even make the situation where France? There we go. Oops, sorry. And you can make choices that send them down the path of communism. And even here, I have 30% support for communism. You actually will get into situations where people go away, where people will just strike against you, and you have to choose: do you break the strike and get some support, or do you allow the strike to go on and have more support for the communism, but perhaps it's better in the long run? All these are choices that are presented to you as part of the game. But yeah, national focus is what's going to really change the flow of the game for you. Each of the major countries has their own, and let's go look at a second one. Let's go look at the U.S. just because. But essentially, that's where the main parts of the game will really show up. And France has the most choices in the national focus. Let's take a look at U.S. Now, this is an early game. We're still in 1936. I didn't actually go forward with this game because years take long to simulate, and if you tried to simulate 5 years to get America into the battle, you're talking about 3-4 hours. There's a lot you can choose. I did not feel like I had the proper amount of knowledge, so I just ended up not doing this, but we can even look. So you can do all sorts of things. You can do war bonds, the WPA, and some of these stuff are based on reality. Some of it, of course, is not. Empire. Yeah, it's like you can even do a war plan against the UK. You know, it's obviously that did not happen. But the idea of this is America has all sorts of different policies that they can now go and attempt to differentiate themselves or experience. They don't have many choices. This looks to be the only choice. Do you want to do air support or strategic bombing? And that will give you different abilities. These differentiate stuff, but like Manhattan Project, if you know, that's where the nuclear bomb was created. Here, it just gives you bonuses to nuclear research. That's a good bonus, but it is not required. So, the national focuses are an interesting addendum. Now we're going to look at the one game that I played the longest of. I'm in 1946. I played this game very poorly. Extremely so. I did not build troops fast enough. If you played this game, or if you know history again, I know I keep going back to history, but that's where we're coming from. Britain doesn't have a lot of troops at the beginning of 1936. They actually have to build up, and one of the pieces is limited rearmament. Britain can start rearming. Germany has like bonuses to the military already, understandable. The point though is all of this stuff is about them building up. They can also work on reinforcing their empire, because this is the 30s and 40s. Britain is still very much the empire. You can actually go down and see Canada, South Africa, Australia, the British Raj, and if I mispronounced that, I apologize. Hong Kong, and so many more. You can start working with China. You can even coerce Turkey or Greece. I mean, you have this huge country. So I played poorly though. You can't see it as much because, as I said, I did a earlier take and I showed a bunch of this. This is Iron Man, so I can save off a section. But basically, Italy went down and stomped this area. I've now pushed back, and now I'm kicking them out of the Africa, just because that's the best place. Now, like I said, I've been doing poorly. If you notice, what's that? Germany has taken everything. There's a point that Germany took all of Russia. They then split off, creating the Soviet Union of Germany, a Soviet Republic of Germany. Japan has now stepped in and taken over. Alternate history. It's an interesting facet of the game. But the point is, you know, I'm giving Germany tons of power in this game, tons of time to do everything, take over all of Russia. What haven't they done? Oh, look, the UK doesn't have a single German soldier on it. No one's ever landed on my country. The fact is, Germany is not, did not spend the time, and even I forget what they're called, the Nation Francois. No, that's probably wrong. I don't speak many languages or any language other than English. I apologize if I keep butchering it. But essentially, the sea battles and the sea combat here is weak because no one ever attacks. I did not do well enough that I feel that I should have easily been a quick target for Germany to take over. I sent all my troops. I have over 100 troops down here. You can see they're all in Africa. So who's defending me? Well, the fact that the AI doesn't do anything is defending me. I'm actually going to turn on the timer here for a little bit just to show you I'm going to attempt to show you something here. If it works, great. If it doesn't, okay. So I'm just told it to push into this part of Italy. Hey, it's actually doing something. Yeah, okay, it's showing me what it wants to do. Yeah, do that. And the AI in the game will execute plans you make. Now, it's a 50-50 chance. Maybe it's more like 70%, 30%, but in this case, the AI is actually moving. Sometimes the AI will make a big front line and just stay, and it will never make a attack. In this case, you're seeing it move. I think one of the factors is there is no troops in this area. We're just kicking Italy out of Africa, as you can see. In my game, I'm probably going up against this country next. But anyways, the point is, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's working here, unfortunately, and that's a shame because I really wanted to illustrate this point, but I have an issue when it just decides, you know what, we're just going to wait here and do nothing. It actually is one of the big issues I've had with this game, in that, yeah, I'm not a fan of this style of game, but I still try to look at it from the style. The one thing that I know fans of the series will have issues with is the AI. It's not a deal breaker, mind you, it's just frustrating because oftentimes you have to go and manually move a troop left or right. Oh well. With that being said, I did not show the research. Let me show you some research here. I'm going to leave this running, we can just watch what happens later. All of a sudden we have different tanks here. That is an interesting choice. Every country has their own tanks. I don't know enough to tell you which are real and which are proposed, but the idea that, hey, every country now can build their own military force with different names is good. Diplomacy, on the other hand, can be a mixed bag. I'm gonna pause. Let's say I'm gonna do something I was not planning to, but let's just see. Yeah, you can offer peace. I don't want to do that. Let's say I wanted to get Brazil into this war. Just a random country. I actually chose America from the beginning because imagine if America joined the war in 1939, let's say, or 1940. A lot of bad stuff probably could have been avoided. I wanted to see if that was possible. Even here, the message that it gives you is odd. Brazil is non-aligned and needs the world tension at 100% to join the faction. This is the world tension up here. It's 100%. It's actually 253% technically. I mean, come on. What's going on? Diplomacy is hard to use in the game, and the fact is, I just feel like there's not as much reason for it. In this case, we have Ireland. You probably know UK and Ireland, mixed results. I mean, different situations going on, but they at least are closely aligned. We can see they're not going to accept because I'm already in a war and the base reluctance is -20. This is to invite them to the faction so that they'd be part of the Allies. But you can see there's all these things that, hey, we have this situation going on. It's going to give me a positive 101. And the diplomacy is just very frustrating to kind of work with. Potentially I could improve relationships with them and just spend time doing that, but it costs capital, political power. I have a ton here. This is not normal. Normally it's hard to gain political power early on, and I found I just didn't play with the political power as much in this one, and again, maybe that's my mistake. That could be why I failed, but the fact is you have to spend this to improve relations, you have to spend it to change your government, and so on. There's a lot to do. I mean, the fact is this game is one of the most complicated games I've played recently, and I accept that. It's a war game. It's supposed to be big and deep, and I'm okay with all of that. I'm not faulting the game for that. My faulting the game, the fault there is just I can't show you everything in this video. I will show you one more thing. But first I want to show you this bar. A lot of this stuff up here is mixed value. Yeah, we're at war. This is cool. You can see contributions to the war. How have we done? How's the war going? Clearly it's not going that well. But so on. But let's say we wanted to look at updated equipment in production. It gives you a list of information, but it's stuff that you have to just go and manually deal. In this case, we have the Hawker Hurricane that is outdated. I'm just going to try to show you quickly what that means. This is stuff that could have been done automatically. Hawker Hurricane is just a Hurricane up here. It's a Fighter 1. Okay. And what they want you to do is take the Fighter 2, replace it, and the production will come back up. That's fine. Nothing is wrong with this setup. It's just all the stuff on the top bar has mixed uses. We have naval combat that has happened. How has that looked? Now we have a list of them. I don't know. Personally, I think there's too much information and oftentimes not enough. Like unassigned divisions, okay. There's sometimes low manpower. It doesn't tell you how to fix it. I'm mixed on it. But you know what? You learn the game, you spend hours learning the game, or you watch a ton of videos, you're going to probably have to spend at least 5 full hours looking at this game to really understand it. And that's a lot of time. Like, I put in 15 hours, and not all of them are learning, all of them are playing, and every game I learned something new, but I also learned it from accidents and mistakes I made. So, let's look at one last thing. If I can pull it off, awesome. If I can't, oh well. Yeah. Okay, so nuclear bomb. This is just a little piece of fun. I can choose to have a nuclear strike happen. It will take 12 hours. And we will leave on this, or at least we'll stop looking at the game with this piece. Yeah. So you can nuke cities. What it actually does is it will damage heavily the pieces. You can see 25 unlocked slots. Over here, 14. It just destroys the infrastructure. My understanding is actually troops are still there. Yeah, you can even just see for a second there. There's troops standing right there. Troops do not get injured by the nuclear bomb. From my understanding, it is just the infrastructure of the city. Interesting choice. Oh well. So I realize this game is very complex, and I've been talking about it for probably longer than I needed to. I just wanted to show parts of it, show at least pieces. This one is going to be more of an addendum for the full review down below because of the complexity of the game. But overall, I mean, how is this game? Well, if you're not a war game fan, right now it's $12 on Humble Bundle. You get 3 games for that, plus more coming later. If you're interested, now would be the time to buy it, just because the 3 games have a lot of diversity, and even if this is not the game for you, you're getting it at a great discount. Now, if it's not in June 2018 anymore, then that option is probably gone. I feel like Hearts of Iron for a non-war gamer is going to be a hard sell. If you're interested, check it out. It is good. There is very good parts, but it is difficult to get into fully without someone teaching the ropes or watching a lot of information. Like, when I put 15 hours into a game, I think I should understand the game. And some games violate this rule. The Tales of series can take like 20 to 30 hours for the tutorial to fully run its course, but at least you're constantly playing the single game. Here, I've played 3 games over 15 hours, and I'm still not even a novice. I still am making horrible mistakes, and I still have to learn all the systems. That's fine, but it's not for me. And I think a lot of people are going to be turned off by that. At the same time, I like to review the games more for the fans of the series or people who are somewhat interested in the series already. I'm not going to fault the game because I'm not a war gamer. In that case, I have to say there is the big issue for me in this game is the AI and the complexity. The complexity is more harmful to the fans of other series or just people who want to understand it. I think there is an issue there. Sometimes troops have issues and it's hard to find the right screen to show you what's going on with a single troop or what's going on with the master plan. The other side of it, though, is the AI sometimes just doesn't do what you want it to. When combat is between two countries, it's good. The enemy AI is a little bit stupid. You saw that Britain's not being attacked. Britain should probably be demolished by this point because, and I'm not just being self-deprecating. My play of the UK was very poor, and my over-attachment to Africa has definitely left the door open. For some reason, I've never been attacked on the UK homeland. But at the same time, there's times when I tell my army, attack. And sadly, I couldn't show you this, but there was a point where I was fighting in Africa, and I had made a front line, and I made an offensive line to do something, and it was doing nothing. A year would go by. You know, it's bad. And then I would change one thing from balanced to aggressive fighting, and all of a sudden my UK forces shot up the coast and took over all of Africa, as you saw in the game, in just like a month. And the difference was I switched to aggressive. There's no reason for the balance to be so slow and the aggressive to be so fast, and if there is, there needs to be something that's telling me what's going on with the situation, not just a single button that tells me percentage-based stuff. Because of that, because of the AI mostly, but because of everything, I'm forced to give this game a 3.5 out of 5. You know, that's not a horrible score. That's actually a pretty good score for me. It's better than a good game. I think it's a little bit below a great game. Perhaps this is what the fans of the series like, and perhaps this is what the fans of the series really want. I can't imagine that they want the AI to have that flaw, but that's fine. But I think it could be better. I think it could be more accessible. I think it could be more informative. But it's still a pretty damn good game, and I have to admit, I'm going to move on to something else, and 15 hours probably isn't enough for this game, and I'm sure someone's going to be a big Hearts of Iron fan and watch this and tell me everything I did wrong. You do that, kudos. I mean, I have no complaint about admitting that I'm not a fan of the series, but I just don't see this as the big winner. There's so much more that could have been done slightly better, and all those slight things add up. But when I look at the AI really does knock it down, and that is the big complaint I have with it. Either you can call it the AI's informativeness or the AI's executions. Either one has a flaw. I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you exactly which one is the true culprit. But with that, this game is done. I am King Link, and I will, sorry about that. I've been doing a few of these reviews, and it takes a little bit out of me. So, let me try that again. This is King Link, and that's all for this game. So, if you enjoyed this at all, or if you have had me help you at all understand this game, made a purchasing decision or whatever, please leave a like below. If you want to see more from me, subscribe, check out my channel. I have first looks and last looks at, this is my third one, so you should have already a first look at Lego Batman, and you should have a Lego Batman 3, sorry. And you should have a first look at I Am Bread, last look at I Am Bread. I will be putting out more first looks, I will be putting out more last looks, and I'll do them quite often. I do it in line with my reviews. If you want more information and more information about this game and the full review, check the description or check out my site at kinglink-reviews.com. My Twitter is at kinglink reviews. That's as one word. And I'll see you next time. I hear there's some pirates on the horizon, so I better watch out. Have a good day, guys.